Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg. Hank is still in Del Mar, where the surf meets the turf. How's your week been down there, Hank?
Well, I've been here 9 days now, and I'm going back to Las Vegas tomorrow. I hooked up with a lot of good racing people. I spent some time with Bob Baffert, who his horse Game Winner is out of the Travers because he's got a fever. There's a bunch of fever going around the horses here. Another bad week for 3-year-olds. And, the other great 3-year-old is out of the Travers, who they were looking for, the other Gary West horse, who was disqualified in the Derby. He's not racing, so the Travers, it looks like Tacitus again is going to be favored. But the Travers is kind of falling apart. It's been a tough year for 3-year-olds. Travers is Saturday at Saratoga. They got hit with some bad weather yesterday, and it kind of destroyed their card. Weather has been an issue there. I'll tell you, the racing in Southern California is in a little bit of trouble. They're off about 14% in handle this year. They've had trouble filling fields, and they're only running 5 days a week this year, and they're saying they're looking at racing out here, wondering what's the future.
That's not good. Is racing declining around the country, or is it just California? And is it affecting other countries? I know there's racing around the world.
No, around the world is. But Saratoga's having a very good meet, except for the weather situations. They had to cancel a day of racing a couple of weeks ago because the weather was on a Saturday. They lost a Saturday at their meet.
And they had that big race at Monmouth that had to be put back a couple of weeks ago. Also, they had to run it late. Yep. That was weather induced. Speaking of other sports, baseball is winding down to a very exciting finish. Some teams are just going through the motions now and bringing up a lot of players from the minors, and other teams are in a dogfight. St. Louis, Milwaukee today is one big one. And football, we're getting down to the point where we're going to start playing some meaningful games. We still got 2 more weeks to go of the preseason. How do you see things shaping up in the NFL?
Well, this is a big week for NFL. This is the dress rehearsal week 3 of preseason. And the teams are going to start playing their regulars some this week. I think the luck situation with Indianapolis has grown serious because he's not getting any better, and it looks like he's going to miss the opening week of the regular season, and that's not good for them.
No.
San Diego got a bad break last week because they lost one of their top players, the starting safety, who looks like he's gone for most of the season. That's a very bad break for them.
Yeah, it is.
And, here we go with San Diego, or not San Diego, I'm sorry, it's the Chargers, but here they go getting bad breaks again, and they don't have their running back signed. Don't know what's going to happen with that. I had dinner last night with a major supporter of the Chargers in the past who very down on Spanos and the fact that they moved out of here. They lost a lot of fans, a lot of ticket holders. But the Chargers, they can't get lucky. They looked real good before the start of training camp, and now all of a sudden, losing that safety was a major loss for them. This was a Pro Bowler, and he got hurt, and he's done maybe for the season. And they got this issue with the running back unsigned. Every year it's another, it's a series of injuries that have stopped them from going all the way. Good for Kansas City. And Eli Manning had a good game he went 4 for 4 the other night. But the rookie from Duke has played very well. And there's not a controversy there yet. But the Giants have looked decent this preseason. And Eli has been sharp. So he's not giving up the job so fast. And the media is trying to create something out of the fact that the rookie from Duke has played very well. Cleveland has had a good preseason. But we'll see what happens when it counts. And but they're excited about the rookie, about their second-year quarterback, and he has looked very good so far this summer. He's the real deal. And I thought that there was an easy move. Yeah, McCown came out, who was going to work for ESPN, re-signed with the Eagles for $2 million, which makes me wonder if the Eagles are concerned about their quarterback and his health.
Well, they
paid $2 million for a year to come back out of retirement.
Well, they did lose Sudfeld and Kessler as their backups, and they needed somebody. Obviously Wentz has not proven to be a healthy quarterback and can play 16 games. They needed somebody. Kessler and Sudfeld could do the job, but they both got hurt.
Yeah. And ESPN signed the former coach as an analyst, Del Rio, joins the ESPN team. I start with ESPN on Thursday this week.
Oh, nice.
And I'll be on every week. And Ed Werder is back in the fold with ESPN for another year covering the Cowboys. And that's a good move on their part. He's a very solid reporter. So that's what's happening on that front. Baseball-wise, Greinke had a big game yesterday for Houston. And that was a big acquisition for them. The Yankees have cooled off a little bit, but they're so far ahead that it doesn't matter.
True.
Red Sox haven't really started any kind of a run, and Tampa Bay is playing okay. That's what's going on in that division. The Dodgers are, they're strong. They still have some bullpen issues. Nothing much has changed since I last talked with you on the baseball front.
Yeah, it's pretty status quo, except for these wild card chases and stuff, and with teams like Tampa and of course Milwaukee and St. Louis today, and there's some decent little races there, and of course Cleveland. They're
playing well.
They're playing well, and they knocked off the Yankees and a little bit, and that really helped. They've disappointed last week when they had a chance straight up against Minnesota, and they didn't do real well, and they were home. But then they went on the road to the Yankees and did better. It's a little strange there. But yesterday I had a question for you. Cleveland played in Indianapolis, and there was a pretty good money move on Indianapolis in that game, in spite of the fact that, they didn't have luck, and you would think they would have to protect some of the backup players a little bit more. But the money came in on Indianapolis quite a bit, and I was a little bit. Originally I liked Cleveland but But when money moves in the preseason, I get a little nervous, and I respect it. Not so much in regular season, but in preseason I do, and they were wrong. It was the wrong move, but
Yeah.
I really didn't understand why they were supporting Indianapolis when they knew they had to protect their backup quarterback without Luck.
Well, the other game that was, the Rams played in Hawaii. They left all the regulars at home. Didn't take any of the regulars with them for that game. And Dallas beat them 14-10.
That was an underplay for me, and I bet it under 42 and 41 and 40 and 39.5, and I just loved an under. First half, when they scored 17 and missed 2 field goals, I was happy that they missed those field goals. In the second half, they didn't do anything, so that was good. It's the way it is. It's been a good run in the preseason for me, and I look forward to carrying it over to the regular season. This week, Hank, I know you start on ESPN, and congratulations with that. I know you'll do a great job, as you always do. College football starts this week.
I wasn't even looking at that yet. I won't be doing college football for ESPN. I'm just doing NFL and horse racing this week with the Travers. I did not have a good week with the NFL. I was doing great until this week. You and I were running 1-2 at Vegas Insider.
You're right.
But this week, I did not have a good week. Although I did have the winner in the Indianapolis game, and I had the under in another game which I lost. And I got the game tonight. I'm in action, so we'll see what happens with that. But this is a week where I'm going to watch a lot of games and take a look at a lot of these teams. But it's beginning to look more and more like Kansas City's going to be strong, although they didn't do anything this weekend. I think Chicago's going to be all right once it counts. He's been resting a lot of his guys so far. Minnesota. Minnesota went out and won this weekend, and he likes to win these preseason games. Nothing has changed there.
That's true.
But,
he's like Harbaugh with Baltimore. They both like to win.
Yeah.
I think some of the stories with the players.
And by the way, the Baltimore quarterback has looked pretty good in the time that he's played.
Yeah, they were saying in the offseason that he made a lot of improvements, and they were developing a game plan around his skill set. And right now it looks like it's working, but it is preseason. A couple of things you mentioned: the holdout by Gordon for the Chargers, and you got the situation down in Dallas where you got 3 contracts that they have to negotiate. And then, of course, we have the drama with Antonio Brown, which is a real circus. I don't know. Do you have any insight in that? And what do you think of his argument about the helmet?
I think it's time they put an end to it. And yesterday, they had the general manager had Mayock had a press conference, and he looks pretty disgusted with the whole thing. The coach won't even talk about it anymore. I think you're a little fed up. We want to get him in. It's getting to the point where, Drew Rosenhaus is talking about it, and he's trying to make excuses for it. The guy should be in camp and then put an end to all this.
Jim Kelly was on the internet show this morning, and I'm sure you probably know Jim Kelly and personally.
Yeah, I do.
And he was And thank God he's recovered from his battles with cancer. I mean, he looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
It really is, and nobody really thought he'd get that far. And he was on there. He's very lucid, did a good job, and he was saying how disgusted he is and tired of it he is with these individual players, and it's all about them. It's not about the team, and we really got to get back to these are team events, not individuals, and stop making these guys, these divas, stand out and kissing their butts all the time and giving them everything they want. I mean, forget about it, Get out there and do your job. You're making a damn fortune, and all you do is cause trouble. So I'm sick of it, too. And he basically said that. And I think it's time that they kick him to the curb. You don't want to play? You don't want to wear the helmet? Go play in Canada. I mean, these guys they are replaceable. Yes, they're very good. I agree with them. Their talent is amazing, but enough is enough.
Yeah. Yeah, they had the issue with the helmet in New England, and, Brady has dealt with it. Gase is not playing his running back at all this preseason. He's not going to play him for a down. Although the Jets quarterback has looked pretty good in the playing time that he's had. But they got this former Pittsburgh running back with the Jets not playing it down in preseason.
Well,
Case is an oddball coach.
He didn't do very well in Miami. I mean, but he had previously had success in isolated spots as support coaches and head coaching. But I've been kind of impressed with their play so far, and I really don't care if he plays or not. Running backs, especially a talented one like that, you don't want to get him hurt. He does play in practice, but I'm impressed with what they might be able to do on defense. Williams is there. I thought he should have gotten the head coaching job at Cleveland after what he did last year. They did very well at the end of the year when he was a fill-in coach. And they kicked him to the curb. He ends up with the Jets. The Jets could be tough. I'm actually kind of up a little bit on what the Jets might do this year.
The defense is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And like I said, the quarterback played well last week. He didn't do that well against the Giants, but we'll see. I don't trust Case 100%, but he's all about Case.
Yeah, he has to prove himself as a head coach, and he hasn't done that yet. But Darnold, I mean, he has a lot of potential. A lot of people are very high on him. We know what Williams can do as a defensive coordinator. He's very tough. He plays a very aggressive defense, and he's very hard to prepare for. So I'm kind of up on that.
I'll tell you the team to keep an eye on is Buffalo. That quarterback has looked very good so far this summer.
He had a lot of development to do in the offseason, and apparently he has done a pretty good job getting ready for this season. The AFC East, which has been owned by the Patriots, and I believe they'll own it again this year, it may start... It's shaping up that maybe some of these teams might actually be a little bit better than they had in the past. And I don't have much to say about Miami. I know you're very close to what Miami's doing down there. Do you have any hope for them?
They're awful. No. Although Rosen hasn't been too bad so far. I'll tell you something about Buffalo there. They may be a lot better than people think, and they're pretty well coached. They've got a good running game. But that quarterback, if he's as good as people think, they could challenge. The thing with New England and where Belichick is really smart is that last year they had one problem, and that was their performance on the road wasn't all that great at times. So this year, he's taken them on the road in preseason, and they've been practicing against teams on their field. You know, for example, they went to Tennessee and stayed there for a few days and practiced there for a few days. And he's had the Patriots away from their normal routine to have them away from home more often in preseason to try to get them used to the road, which was a weakness that they had last season. He thinks of everything, that guy.
Well, there's a reason this guy is who he is. I mean, he obviously extremely bright. Knows. I mean, what the hell? What can I say about him? This guy, what he's done is amazing, and Brady is amazing as well at his age to be who he is and what he's doing. I believe they'll win that division rather easily. Although I have to go back and say, like you said, Buffalo looks stronger, Jets look stronger, and of course Miami looks like they're in a real first step of the. They might be the worst team, well, and Arizona possibly, because Murray hasn't been showing anything yet. But anyway, Hank, I'm glad you had a nice week in Delmar. I love it there. It's where the surf meets the turf. It's a beautiful spot. And we'll look forward to getting you back here in Las Vegas. And good luck this week. I'll talk to you again on Wednesday, okay?
Yep. Have a good weekend. Or a good week. Sorry, today.
You too, Hank. Appreciate it. And JimFeist.com is where you can get Hank's plays and mine. And this week I want to announce something that we're doing. You can get free plays each and every day. Go to the website. You can sign up there, and we'll send them to you. You can text 877-537-7716 and use the code word PICK, P-I-C-K. On the website, use the code word PICK, and if you go to social media and the podcasts and stuff like that, we'll use the code word play. So this is the first day we're doing it, so I'm a little discombobulated here with it too. But if you go through social media or podcasts like we're listening to right now, use the code word play. Sign up for the free play. We will send you the free play each and every day via text or email if you leave the email. And no obligation, no nothing. We're not going to... And... sorry about the interruption there. So anyway, that's the way it is. Free play each and every day. Just go to the website or call that phone number. Okay, thank you. And remember, go to JimFeist.com each and every day. Thank you.